Dave Ramsey is right. Pay off your student loans as fast as possible. Throw every extra dollar at that debt. Do not invest until you are debt-free. That is the advice. And for roughly 70% of the people following it, it is genuinely correct. But here is the problem. You might be in the other 30%. And for you, following that advice to the letter is going to cost you $40,000 you will never get back. Today, we are going to run the actual math, not the emotional math, the spreadsheet math, because it turns out both sides of this argument are right, just for completely different people. And figuring out which side you are on is the most valuable 30 minutes you will spend this year. The setup is simple. Two people, Marcus and Kevin, both 30 years old, both making $150,000 a year, both carrying $50,000 in student loans at 4.5%, which is the rate for graduate borrowers from 2020 through 2023. Both have $1,500 a month of breathing room above their minimum loan payment. Same income, same debt, same starting line. The only difference is what they do with that $1,500. Kevin follows Ramsey. He throws every extra dollar at the loan. $1,500 on top of the minimum payment every single month. Marcus does something different. He pays the minimum on his loan and sends that same $1,500 into 3 accounts. We will get to exactly which 3 in a moment, because the order matters a lot. First, the thing Ramsey gets completely right, and I want to be clear that he does, Kevin's loan is gone in 27 months, 2.25 years. He walked in with $50,000 in debt, and he walked out with nothing. He saved roughly $9,600 in interest compared to the standard 10-year repayment schedule. The psychological weight of that is real. He wakes up on month 28 with 0 debt and $2,000 a month freed up. That is a legitimate win. That is not nothing. Here is where I want to pause and tell you something you will not hear very often in the investing space. Dave Ramsey built a business helping people who were genuinely drowning. His audience is not 30-year-old professionals making $150,000. His original audience was people with high-interest credit card debt, no emergency fund, and no behavioral guardrails keeping them from spending money the moment it hit their checking account. For that person, the math is almost irrelevant. The structure is the medicine. Ramsey gives people a system simple enough that they will actually follow it. And a simple system followed beats a perfect system abandoned every single time. If you have high anxiety about debt, if the number on your loan statement disrupts your sleep and your decision-making, if you have a history of spending windfalls instead of investing them, Ramsey's path is not irrational. It is calibrated to human behavior, not a spreadsheet. We will come back to that. But first, let's look at where the math actually breaks. This is Paycheck Playbook. I am Drew, and the number we need to talk about is $625. Your employer match is not a perk. It is a salary component you have already earned. Most plans offer somewhere between 50 cents and $1 for every dollar you contribute, up to a percentage of your salary. The most common structure is dollar for dollar, up to 5%. On $150,000, that is $7,500 a year in free money, or $625 a month. When Kevin follows Ramsey and skips his 401k for 27 months to pay off debt, that $625 a month does not get deferred. It disappears. It vaporizes. The employer does not hold it for him. There is no rain check. When he finally starts investing on month 28, that window is closed. Let me put this on a visual. Imagine 2 bars. Both start at 0 on day 1. Marcus's bar starts growing immediately, fed by his $1,500 plus the $625 employer match every single month. Kevin's bar stays flat for 27 months. Flat, not growing, not compounding, flat. Then Kevin's debt disappears. His bar starts climbing, but it is climbing from a cold start. Marcus's bar has been growing and compounding for over 2 years already. The bars never fully close. Here is what that 27-month gap costs. Those 27 months of employer match, $625 a month invested from day 1, growing at 7% annually, compounds to roughly $31,000 by the end of year 10. Kevin did not lose $6,225. He lost $31,000. Because compounding does not give refunds. At year 10, Marcus has a portfolio worth approximately $370,000. That includes his own contributions and the employer match that ran from month 1. Kevin has been investing aggressively since month 28. He has his freedom from debt and he is doing the right things now. His portfolio is roughly $327,000. The gap between them is $43,000, and that gap exists entirely because of 27 months. Now here is the objection I know is coming. You might be thinking, Drew, Kevin saved $9,600 in interest. He got out of debt 2 years early. He had psychological peace of mind. Maybe that trade-off is worth it. And I want to take that seriously because it is a legitimate argument. Let's add up Kevin's wins. He saved $9,600 in interest. He has been debt-free since month 27. He carries zero financial stress from that loan for the last 7.5 years of this comparison. That has real value. If you can put a dollar amount on sleeping better, on not having that loan sitting in the back of your head during every financial decision, Ramsey would say the value is worth more than $43,000. He might be right for some people, but here's what the math cannot show and Ramsey cannot guarantee: whether Kevin actually invested that $2,000 a month from month 28 forward. This is what I call the discipline gap. The math assumes Kevin flips a switch the day his loan disappears and becomes a disciplined investor overnight. But the same behavioral tendencies that made the Ramsey system appealing in the first place, the need for structure and a clear target, do not automatically generate investing discipline once the target is gone. Pew Research found that only 27% of Americans feel confident in their ability to create an investment plan. Not follow a plan, create one. Kevin had a plan for 27 months. Pay off the loan. The plan had a finish line, a number, and a countdown. Investing does not work that way. The finish line is decades away, and the number is abstract. Ramsey builds enormous behavioral momentum toward debt payoff. The question nobody asks is what happens to that momentum on month 28. Marcus did not have that problem. His system was automated from day one. He never had to decide each month whether to invest. The money was already allocated. What I call the automation advantage. The people who build wealth fastest are not the people with the best financial IQ. They are the people whose system removes the most decisions. Now, let us look at Marcus's 3 accounts, because this is where the math gets genuinely interesting. His first allocation is $625 a month into his 401k, exactly enough to capture the full employer match. That is it. He is not maxing his 401k. He is capturing the match. At his income level, at the 24% federal marginal rate, that $625 pre-tax contribution saves him $150 a month in federal taxes alone. The effective cost of that 401k contribution is not $625. It is closer to $475 out of pocket. His second allocation is $346 a month into an HSA, or health savings account. The 2024 individual contribution limit is $47,150 a year. This is the only account in the tax code with triple tax protection. Pre-tax going in. Tax-free growth. Tax-free withdrawals for medical expenses. At his income, that $4,150 in annual HSA contributions saves him roughly $1,300 in taxes between federal income tax and payroll tax. He is not just saving for the future. He is generating an immediate 31% return on every dollar he puts in before the market does anything. His third allocation is the remaining $529 a month into a Roth IRA. Tax-free growth. Tax-free withdrawals in retirement. This money is accessible if he genuinely needs it, though he plans not to touch it. Marcus's minimum loan payment is $518 a month. The loan disappears on the standard 10-year schedule. By year 10, the loan is gone for him too. He ends up paying more in interest than Kevin, roughly $12,000 versus $2,600. That difference is real. But against a $43,000 portfolio gap and the compounding runway he built, it is a manageable cost. Here is the honest Steelman for Ramsey, and I mean it as a genuine Steelman. The math in this comparison assumes Marcus is a stable earner with a dollar-for-dollar employer match, real investing discipline, and no behavioral vulnerabilities. Remove any one of those conditions and the calculus shifts. If there is no employer match, the gap between the two paths shrinks to roughly $11,000 at year 10. That is a much harder argument to make. If Marcus loses his job for 6 months during that time, his loan still accrues interest and his investment timeline compresses. If Marcus is not actually the disciplined investor this model assumes, and he spends $400 of that $1,500 on lifestyle the moment the structure is gone, his real portfolio is not $370,000. It is considerably less. Ramsey's system protects against those failure modes by making the behavior simple and non-negotiable. That is worth something, particularly for people earlier in their careers with volatile income or with a history of behavioral slippage around money. So here is the protocol, and this is how you figure out which path is actually yours. Step 1 is identifying whether your employer offers a match and whether you are currently capturing it. If your employer offers a dollar-for-dollar match and you are not contributing enough to capture it, you are leaving compensation on the table, regardless of your debt. Start there. The match is not optional if the math is close. Step 2 is running your own debt number honestly. What is your actual interest rate? Loans from 2020 through 2023 sit between 2.75 and 5%. Loans from 2024 forward are closer to 8%. At 8%, the conversation changes. The guaranteed return from paying off debt starts to compete more seriously with market expectations. If your rate is above 6%, Ramsey's logic gets considerably stronger. Step 3 is the behavioral audit question. If your student loan disappears tomorrow and someone hands you $2,000 a month with no instructions, what percentage of that do you actually invest? Be honest. If the answer is less than 80%, the Ramsey structure is doing real work for you. Factor that in. The answer to this argument is not Dave Ramsey is wrong. The answer is Dave Ramsey is right for the people he built his system for, and for a specific profile: stable income, employer match available, genuine investing discipline, and a loan rate below 6%. The math says capture the match first, automate everything else, and let time do its work. The employer match is not a perk. It is a salary. Every month you leave it on the table is a month you are voluntarily taking a pay cut. That is the number Ramsey's framework does not account for, and it is the number worth protecting. Drop a comment with your loan interest rate and whether you have a match at work. That combination determines which of these two paths is actually yours. I read every one because the answer changes completely depending on those two numbers. If this breakdown helped clarify the decision, hit the like button and subscribe to Paycheck Playbook if you want the math behind the decisions your employer and your lender would rather you not calculate. I will see you in the next one. For educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing in this video should be treated as financial or investment advice. I am not a financial advisor, so please do your own research before making money decisions. Some voice or visual elements may be AI assisted, but I personally review, edit, and finalize the content, Drew.